got the hits. We got the gist. This is Lagos' #1 lifestyle station, City 1051 FM.
University. I'd kind of volunteered on sets. Worked with people on their sets, but full time. 2014 was when I started, but before then I had shot a web series around 2010. And I had registered a production company in 2012. But then when I said, okay, I was not going to serve two masters, I was going to drop the corporate world and move straightly into film.
Focus,
was in 2014. And since then it's been amazing. I guess for me, my plan really for 5 years was just to learn. So I've worked across all mediums. I've worked. I studied economics, so I was very interested in structure. So I volunteered for the African International Film Festival. I started managing the program. I've done commercials, I've done documentaries, I've done film, I've done television. This is my first stage play. So I've just been experimenting. Thank you. So yes, it's been very good.
It's been very good.
Yes.
All right, good to know. Okay, so because you made mention of that, I was going to ask you about the stage play later on, but because you just mentioned that, let's just talk about it for a little bit. Now, it's your first stage play production.
Yes.
How does it make you feel? Aside the fact that you're so excited, it was a huge success, and now you're going on tour, how does it make you feel?
Wow. See, I've always loved theatre.
Okay.
But I've never worked, because I didn't study theatre. I've always loved to watch it, but I've never done it, right? So it was very different. I think it's like a family, because on stage, all the actors depend on each other so much. Yeah. So they're very close. So it's a very different vibe, and because of the topic, because of the play itself, everyone really resonates with it. So it's almost like a fellowship, So it's been a fantastic feeling, putting it together internally. There's the challenges, of course, but it just feels, every time I watch it, I cry, I laugh with every performance. So it's very close to me. I think it's so it's been really good. It's something that is in my voice, and I've done a lot of projects that I felt like maybe they're not my voice. So with this play, it's really, really me. So I'm very excited about it.
It's like your baby.
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so now that I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering what stage play are we talking about, the ABBA Women Riot.
Yes.
And the August meeting.
Yes.
Give us a backstory.
So the August meeting. The ABBA Women's Riot actually kicked off 89 years ago. Yesterday. And I always want to tell the story of those women. In last year there was a huge Me Too movement. And there's a huge kind of like feminism drive. We're always also pushing for gender equality. But it was important to know that we had a history of women's empowerment. Exactly.
Steps. Yeah.
And so for me, when I was researching it and looking at it, even pre-colonial Igbo society was more egalitarian. So that was even before the colonialists came and kind of brought in their brand of patriarchy. So it was, I think I want to tell the story of those women. I felt like, because if we could resonate with those women, and then my father was telling me about my great grandmother, so everything just started kind of opening up. So currently, there's this August meeting that happens every year, in August in different communities. So I was like, okay, so maybe after the ABBA Women's Riot, the premise is that this was the first one that happened, and that was kind of where the idea came from. So it was literally just kind of going from there, and because I wanted it to make a statement. I had the idea for the story, but that's when it needed to be on stage. Because if you saw it, if you felt it, with the film it's different, because you have to tell maybe a singular story. You have to be subtle. You can't be,
But I really felt the passion from the cast yesterday was magnificent.
Thank you. I think they're fantastic.
Yes,
kudos to all the actors, actually.
Okay, so I want to also bring you back to, while I was watching the stage play yesterday, it's a fact that there were some subliminal undertones of feminism. So, are you a feminist?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. What do you think makes you a feminist? Because I feel a lot of people we've had this conversation before on the show, and we feel a lot of people don't even understand what it is, and they just want to join the bandwagon. So, to you, what makes you a feminist?
I mean, for me, feminism is equality. Treat me how you treat anybody else, whether they were male or whether they were female. So that's what feminism is. In terms of the interpretations of it, it's still, I think it's really more about combating the mindset.
Okay.
Sure.
So we spend a lot of time talking about, who's cooking and, all of those kind of like very peripheral things. But it's also, it's not less important, because if you think that this is your role in your life, this is where you're supposed to be, it's a mindset. So it will display in different ways. It will display in you saying, this is the only place you need to be, you shouldn't work.
You're limited to this
Exactly,
place,
you're limited to
restricted
this
to
place.
this.
So it's in combating that mindset. So that is really what it is. I give birth to a boy, I give birth to a girl, they're the same. I treat them the same. I give them the same opportunities. They face the same world, So how can I? So to me, that's that's really what feminism is fighting for. In not putting the girl child below the boy child, and it's very prevalent in the community.
Crimes,
Yes, in the country and beyond.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay, so you corrected me on the pronunciation of your surname, that your parents might be listening. When did they get on board to this dream of yours to become a filmmaker?
Maybe around 2014.
No way. What, were you rebellious though, or how did you get them on board?
I think I did what they wanted me to do, and I studied economics, like I said, but I enjoyed this because for me it was also a broad topic.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in film as an industry as well. How can it grow? How can it create opportunities? How can how can the industry be bigger and better? So it wasn't really out of pocket. Then I went to do a master's. And then when I went to the master's, it was, I think for me, that was when the conversation started. It was between doing the master's and going to film school.
Okay.
And we're like, master's they will pay for, film school they will not. So that's, but after I did that, I was like, okay, I've done the master's, I've done the first degree now, let me be. So,
And they just went with it.
I mean, I think it's good that I'm not as financially dependent on them.
Okay.
I guess so they're on board.
They're able
because,
to.
because it's not a burden.
Exactly.
If you can prove, I mean, for my father, it was basically proof that you can make this viable
Work, yeah.
and make it work. And to the grace of God, I've been able to do that. So
I'm just so sure that you have made them proud, and you're still making them proud.
thank you.
And that makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Now, there's this question that's bugging my mind. Like every project, it's not every project that we embark on that actually succeeds. Now, how do you come back from a failed project, for example?
It's very hard. It's very hard because I think I'm probably the hardest person on myself. People, and the thing about it is that when you put out a project, people don't know what it is you intend to do. So they don't even know you made a mistake. They don't know that it didn't come out quite well.
So you're beating yourself up all by yourself.
You're beating yourself up. People are watching you play and you're thinking, hey, this thing has happened. Or, this line has dropped. But the person that is just reacting to the energy and reacting to the project. But failure also, so in terms of if it reaches an audience, I appreciate it. Okay. If it's not financially viable, it's tough.
Okay.
But then I try to learn. I think I try to learn from every project.
Yeah.
How will I do it differently? Who will I never work with again? All of those.
So you don't repeat those mistakes.
Yeah,
exactly. All of those learnings, and over time, it's helped, but it's inevitable. Every project is a risk.
Exactly.
Every project. So it's your every day.
And then I think it's also a learning process because you have to learn from this to that. Okay, fantastic. All right, if you're still just listening, well, it is Let's Talk Women on City 1051, and we have the amazing Chioma
Onyenewe.
Onyenewe, a filmmaker, producer, director, and lots more. Are you just restricted to filmmaking? Do you have any other side hustle, side business, or you're just 100% focused on filmmaking right now?
I'm 100% focused on filmmaking.
Okay.
But then obviously there's some things that are more lucrative.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're doing a documentary and it's commissioned, then you're able to pay your rent.
Yeah.
So I'm not making kind of like only feature, only short form content or fiction content. So I'm spread across. Sometimes I'll cover an event.
Okay.
So, but so there are things that will pay bills,
Sure.
and the things that you do for passion and for love and for, creativity's sake. So yes, but I mean the goal is to be excellent in everything.
In everything. Awesome. So you made mention earlier that you went to a film school.
Yes.
Do you think it's essential for you to go to a film school before you can really make it in the film industry? If you want to be a filmmaker in Nigeria, is it essential?
I think it's important.
Okay.
I think it's there are different schools of thought.
Yeah.
Even globally, there are people who have not gone to film school
But
and have done well.
Yeah.
There are people who won't subscribe to say, just go on set and learn.
Mm.
But in other climates, they're very exposed in different ways. So they're exposed
True.
to art. They go to museums. They're exposed to culture. So regardless of your social status, you know history. You can go into a library. You can read. We don't have that luxury here.
Yeah.
And to make films, you should be exposed. You should read. So school would force you to do that. So it would put you in an environment where you're watching films, not just Hollywood films, but you're watching films from other African countries. I mean, which is why I do work with the festival as well.
Yeah.
You're watching films from South Korea, you're watching films from Francophone Africa, you're watching films from Europe. So it helps you expand your mind in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I think it's really, really, really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about film. We really want to know what tickles your fancy at Sides Film, but that will be right after this short commercial break. Please stay with us.
City 1051 FM.
30 minutes gone past the hour of 7 on the PM side. You're still listening to Let's Talk Women on City 1051, your number one lifestyle radio station. We've been having an amazing interview with the one and only Chioma Onyenewe.
Yes.
I'm really, really good at learning fast. Okay, so before the break, you were about to tell us what tickles your fancy aside filmmaking. What other things do you do? What are your hobbies?
Oh, well, I climbed Kilimanjaro this year.
Whoa! Was that on your bucket list?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Did you get to touch the clouds?
No. I was above the clouds.
Okay.
But you don't quite touch it, but you get, when you get to like Stella's Point, you're above it.
Okay.
So you can see it below.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I met with someone once who climbed and was able to touch the clouds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm interested in outdoor sports. I watch films.
Okay. That's like a no-brainer there.
I watch films. I watch television. I read. But yeah, and I drink quite a bit too.
Okay.
Oh, really? You put that out there.
I know I do. I'm very particular about it as well. I do it well. I make cocktails.
Oh.
And yes, I'm a connoisseur.
Good.
So it's not, I'm not at the...
Chop no corner. Awesome. Good to know that there's so many interesting things to you that's just besides filmmaking.
Yes.
Amazing. So we're talking behind the scenes, just off record about
I'm just
filmmaking.
curious, for someone who has been, you've been outside here, you studied outside the country, and I know you got to mix with other people from other cultures. I just wanted to know, what do you think the perception of all these other cultures are of our own movie industry in Nollywood?
I believe that Nollywood is really celebrated outside. 2 years ago there was a city spotlight on Lagos at Toronto, the Toronto International Film Festival.
Yeah.
There's a huge curiosity because it's a phenomenon. We might not appreciate it as much, but Nollywood is influencing cultures outside and within Africa.
That's interesting.
So when they go to the Caribbean, they're speaking in Pidgin. In Francophone Africa, they actually had to start dubbing our films in French because they were concerned that people were losing the language because they were saying Igwe. So it's a very it's huge.
Wow.
You know, there's a huge appreciation for it. It's kind of like a Telemundo, you know. So it's niche in terms of the world view, but it has a huge influence across the world.
Wow,
so
that's interesting.
in Western climes, there's curiosity. You know, who is doing what in Hollywood? You know, what are the numbers like? You know, what is once you go out, the first thing you hear is football, Nollywood.
Wow.
I think those are really main. What's the word? The rebranding things. You know, when you go outside and you're talking about Nigeria, those are the good things they mentioned. So there's a huge appreciation for it.
That is so amazing. Now, you being in the center of it all, you being in Nollywood, how is your perception of the filmmaking industry in Nigeria? Where are we? Where are we supposed to be?
Well, within Nollywood, I mean, that's the thing. When you're at home, you say, oh, you know, this there's room for improvement here. But I grew up with Nollywood.
Okay.
You see, I was a huge fan of Amaka Igwe, and so I grew up kind of watching Nollywood films, and I still do till today. So what I appreciate is because knowing how much work goes into it is not easy at all. You know, it's really, despite all odds, you know, to
It's
make a
hard
film,
work.
it's almost impossible. When you think about putting the project together, it's a task. For the films themselves, you know, it's a real reflection of us.
Okay.
In terms of, you know, our mannerisms, our over-the-topness, our theatrics. I think we're dramatic as people.
We are.
So it reflects us quite well. But just technically, I think but there are ways to tell the stories better. There are ways to write us better. In telling in characters that are more three-dimensional, you know. So there's not just one, you know, evil stepmother and good. You know, it's not always evil versus good.
Yeah.
But some people, you know, when you're watching there's some, you know, some good guys that could be bad sometimes.
Yes.
You know, as characters we're good and we're bad. You know, as people.
So you play both roles.
Yeah.
Exactly. So our films can reflect, you know, the multi-dimension characters that we are as human beings. So I think there's, you know, room for improvement in the writing. There's room for improvement with sound, because that also hinders our films from traveling, because just technical quality assurance, our sound is not great. But I mean, it's environmental factors, you know, generators, noise on the road, and that's why a lot of the films you see are claustrophobic. They're shot indoors. Because once you go out, you know, area boys, it becomes something else. And films should be visual. You know, you want to see the city, you want to see the markets, you want to see all of them, but they're so difficult to achieve. So there are ways where we could improve. I'm excited about the film that was shot in Bauchi, for instance, because we're able to see the landscape and see all of those things. But we're getting there.
We are getting there.
We will get there.
And we also want to have your calls on the show, 0700 105 1051. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to talk to us about regarding filmmaking, and of course our guest in the studio, please let us know.
City 1051 FM.
0700 105 1051. Again, 0700 105 1051 is the number you can call us on the show today.
Absolutely. You can also send us messages if you can't call in on 0909 916 4403.
All right, so I want to ask a question. I'm curious. Now, I know you read books a lot.
Yes.
If you were to make a movie from a book, what book would it be?
You know, I've already tried to do that.
Really? Tell us about it.
I actually, you know, the funny thing, when I read Babasegi's Wives, Secret Lives of Babasegi's Wives, I contacted Lola Shonei and her agent, and I really, you know, I saw it, and I really wanted to make a film about it. I mean, but there were other plans for the book. So there was also Helen Habila. There was a book that I wanted to make, Waiting for an Angel, and it was a fantastic book. But he had optioned it out, you see. And so I mean, our literature is gold.
It is.
I think that's another kind of very interesting point. We need to transcend. We have fantastic writers, Sefiata, Amanda, Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, but we're not transcending the literature on screen, and it has so much potential. I mean, they're already doing it outside for us, with Half of the Yellow Sun and with the Americana, But yes, I'm always, I really want to do that. So that's also on my bucket list.
Okay.
I need to get a book and adapt it to screen.
All right. Okay, so talking about adaptation, but let's pick this call. Hello, good evening.
Yes,
this is CTFM. Let's talk women. What's your name? Where are you calling us from? Okay.
Hi, Anthony. You're welcome.
So what's your take on...
Please go right ahead.
I can hear you.
Hello, Anthony. Good evening. Oh, wow. From... Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yes. Oh, wow.
Okay. This person knows you. This is telling you your life history right now.
Yes, I went to Unilag.
Oh, he's so excited.
Okay.
Hello, Anthony. Are you still there? Okay, I'm sure before we let you go, you probably just let us know your social media handles before you go.
Okay.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, so we're talking about adaptation. If you were to remake a classic movie, what movie comes to mind?
Oh, wow, that's much harder.
Is it?
That's much harder because it's already been done, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're like reinterpreting a director's vision.
Mm-hmm.
It's different when it's a book and you're adapting it to screen. If it's a movie to remake it, I don't know. I don't think that I'm going to do that.
Just a fantasy. Okay, just answer our curiosity.
City 1051 FM.
Off the top of your head.
Wow.
With no preference. Don't worry. No judgment zone. Just let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. It's so hard. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay, I can't think because I'm thinking of a film. Maybe I wish I made.
Oh, okay. So how about that? Let us know that.
But then there's so many. But the funny thing, I love District 9. So it's this South African sci-fi film, and it was just. I thought it was brilliant, and it's something like I wish that I made, especially now that I'm thinking of doing a sci-fi project.
I was talking about sci-fi. We're not really used to sci-fi movies here in Nigeria. How can that be accomplished?
It's expensive.
It is. With all the special effects and everything.
Exactly. But I think, but sci-fi is really just a reimagination, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So you're telling the same story, but you're telling it for set in space. It's still the same characters. It's still the same. Exactly. But you're just kind of like reimagining you're telling a historical story reimagined. But I think genre needs to start getting made. We need to start making more sci-fi, horrors, because it's also good to it's a good way to travel in a film, and it's a good way to really explore topics that on the face of it, it's like if you're making like a drama or a romantic comedy, it's hard to be as in depth. But with with sci-fi, with Avatar, you're talking about like global warming. You can take on big issues and like tackle
break it down
in this kind of interesting way. And even as an aside, even Game of Thrones, when winter is coming, is also an allusion to to climate change. So there are ways of taking like different kind of genre films and saying saying good things, but in a very enlightening and entertaining way.
Awesome.
Okay, while we're still talking about people accepting, embracing other genres, do you think that stage plays are well appreciated in Nigeria?
I think that there's room for growth. Barney Austin Peters with Terra Culture is doing an amazing job, but we don't. I think there's still this kind of mindset of when theater arts in school, and then it's like something that people do when they're jobless, because of the movement. But it's an amazing art form.
It is.
We always appreciate it when we watch it. We just need to support it more because it's hard to put together because you know you only have like one day to sell a show. So it's a harder sell than being in the cinema for weeks on end. So but I think there's a definite gap and there's room for growth. But that's why the festivals are coming on, Lagos Theatre Festival, Lagos Fringe Festival, to try and promote performing arts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
0700-105-1151 is the number to call us again. If you're like Anthony and you don't want to reconnect with Chioma, hey, please feel free to call us. And of course, if you want to ask questions or make inquiries, please call us on the show, 0700-105-1151. Better still, you could also send us a message on Twitter at City1051.
Or you can also send us a WhatsApp message on 0909-916-4403. And you want to encourage your mind. You want to just tell her you love what she does. You were at the we're at the stage play yesterday. You just want to encourage her.
Yes,
please call us. Please send her a message. At the end of this show, she will put out the handles that you can reach her on social media.
Yes, most definitely. So what would be your greatest achievement so far? Because we always aim higher in life. We always want to, be better than what we did yesterday, years before. So right now for you, what is your greatest achievement?
Wow. I think it's to be honest, climbing Kilimanjaro is really hard. With work, I mean, it's always like, what's the next project? What's the next project? But I think I'm grateful to be in a place where I know myself. And I know what I can do, and I appreciate that. I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for more little things, because I feel like everything can go in like one day, So, and then it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter that you made so much money or this project went well. It's just like you're one health issue away from, especially in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So, my achievements are more. I don't know. I mean, for me this year, I was like, if I climbed, I'll do it. So that's really top of mind. But yes, I'm grateful for life and health and love. I guess that's really what is close to me.
Okay, fantastic. Congratulations on climbing
One time.
Hopefully, I also get to climb it soon, and then I'll share my experience with you.
Exactly.
Okay, so sorry to take you back, but then being fully engaged since 2014. What would you say have been your major roadblocks for you? Because I know it hasn't all been rosy.
Yeah.
Finances, cooperation from people, partnership. Like, what has been major roadblocks?
There's been a lot. With raising funds, every time it's, blood, sweat, tears, you go to family, you go to friends. There's no real corporate structure around financing art. You can't take 20-something% loans when you're not sure. When you have only, less than 40 cinemas. So it's a challenge raising funds. Beyond that as well. I guess in also just kind of working with people, you find that everything that you're doing with film or with art is a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
So you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yes.
So it's like it's a chain. So and with skill sets, here, people say, I can do it, but they can't, and then you're stuck. So it affects the quality of the work. So if every element of the process, everybody's vying to be excellent, whether you're just holding the boom, which is very important, or to doing the color correction, or to just taking care of equipment, then we'll have better productions. So below the line, above the line. So I guess that has been a real challenge, is skills and building skill sets.
Wow. Okay, so I know that, I hear this a lot about people, that it is if you know who is who in the industry that you can,
excel,
be a part of it, or excel, or be a part of a project. Can you demystify that?
Well, there's always that. It's
Okay.
not just in entertainment, right? It's in banking.
It's in every
aspect,
of
even outside of Nigeria, right? Your net worth. You say your network is your net worth, right?
Yeah.
But it's I think, but there's a way to work smart,
Okay.
and that's always to provide value.
Okay.
So even if you're volunteering, I started with AfriFriends. I started as a volunteer.
Okay.
I gave time. By the next year, I was coordinating the program. So it's, if you know what it is you want to achieve, you have to have like a tunnel vision of sorts.
Yeah.
And how do you do it? If you're good at it, then people will call you back.
Notice.
Because there's only so many people who are, if you want to record sound, they'll call maybe 2-3 names.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you want to do,
You have to be the best. at
exactly,
it.
excel, read, study, watch, work hard, and it won't be easy, but it'll be easier.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Waking us up to reality.
Yeah, it wouldn't be, but you just need one. And the thing about the entertainment industry now, or even Nollywood, is very welcoming. It's very open.
I
You
see
can
that.
come in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
You can, if you're really good.
Yes.
So there's still room to allow people to come in. It's not shut out. You don't have to join a union, or you don't have to. It's not. There are not so many loops. So your only limitation at this point is yourself.
Nice one. All right, we'll be wrapping up this conversation in a minute. Stay with us.
City 1051 FM.
You know what? It's 52 minutes gone past 7, and I'm always saying this every Monday. Why does time
Fly.
Why?
They say time flies when you're having fun, so
It does fly.
we've had
Okay, so let's just quickly wrap this up. What are you working on right now? What's your baby? What's your projects right now?
Right now, I'm still working on August meeting.
Okay.
There's a tour which kicks off this
Woohoo!
weekend.
That's a big one.
And it's amazing to me because I'm going to Abuja, I'm going to the Southeast, and I'm
Wow.
talking about the Southeast women of
I think you should go to the
1929.
Southeast first.
So, Abuja is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For reasons best known.
But I'm very excited about going to the East because
Yes.
I feel like I would get
You're
like
taking it home.
the feedback. I'm also quite scared because there are no filters. So
Yes, so
that's not how to
that's not
pronounce that
it.
word. This is So I'm very excited about the tour. I'm hoping that by next year as well we'll be able to continue to travel with this and take it to schools
Yeah.
and really kind of like tell people the stories, especially because we're not studying it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my big baby right now.
Congratulations to you
Congratulations.
and all that you're doing. We love you. We support you.
Absolutely.
And hopefully when we call you back, you're going to come.
I will.
You should. All right, so if people want to connect with you, hook up, or just, get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
080. I'm just joking.
I was about to drop it.
Are you sure?
Okay.
On Twitter and on Instagram, I'm Chioma, but it's CH10MA.
Okay, it's one, not I.
Not I.
Because I was really looking
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Like, 10. Yeah.
It's CH10MA, and it's the
Okay.
same on Twitter, it's the same on Instagram, and I'm Chioma Onyenewe on Facebook. So
Thank you.
yes,
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you
the
so
best
much.
in your
Thank
projects
you for
and the ones
having
you
me.
will have next year.
amen.
All right, so that's a wrap on the show. Thank you so much for being part of Let's Talk Women today. We had so much fun. Join us
So
again
much.
next week, Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Follow the lifestyle station at City 1051 everywhere. Check out our website, www.cityfm1051.com. You could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Bybisasa.
And you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at BunmiPriceless.
Hallelujah. All right, have a fabulous week ahead. Good night, Lagos.
Good night.
We got the hits. We got the gist. This is Lagos' #1 lifestyle station. City 1051 FM.